Sure, let me...
Yeah, we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Jesse James and the Cassie kid are back. It is me, Omar, and this is Free. What's up, Omar? What's up, Free? What's going on, my brother?
God, man, I've been busy. Work's really laying it down on me, and so has school. I mean, it seems like during February, everybody wants everything from me all at once. I mean...
Well, I've been trying to stay alive. I've been 5 for 6 weeks, man. I don't know. I got some respiratory problems, man. Wow, man. I think I died almost 3 times, man. You know, when your lung just... It's like you're chasing your breath, man. You can't explain it. It's like your body just comes out, man. So
yeah, you got to fight through it, man. You've got the vaccinations for every like major virus and disease, right?
I got both. It's not the COVID. I thought it was COVID.
Yeah.
I'm immunized, but it's not. It's just something. It got triggered. I did some issues with my lungs. I still got to go check them out. I'm taking steroids, which cleared up my lungs, man. I couldn't breathe nothing. I was like a lot of junk in it. Now I'm good. I'm glad to see you, man. I'm glad I'm here. Let's hope we have a good show today. What's up? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm glad to see you alive, man, too. So nobody, even in my immediate family, would shut up about this story. I mean, they were talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. So I'm going to pull up the headline right now.
What's that?
And yeah, oh my God. I just cannot stop hearing about it. So... U.S. downs Chinese balloon, a flashpoint in U.S.-China tensions. So I'm just going to skim off the top here and read a brief summary of the article. So the U.S. military on Saturday shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon off the Carolina coast on orders from President Joe Biden after it traversed sensitive military sites across North America, the latest flashpoint in tensions between Washington and Beijing. Biden wanted the balloon downed on Wednesday, but was advised that the best time for the operation would be when it was over water, U.S. officials said. Military officials determined that bringing it down over land from an altitude of 60,000 feet would pose an undue risk to people on the ground. One more sentence here. The presence of the balloon in the skies above the U.S. this week dealt a severe blow to already strained U.S.-Chinese relations that have been in a downward spiral for years. I mean, this is worrying, man. And this is really, really worrying.
Well, first of all, it's a silly thing because they have satellites they could watch without. They didn't need a balloon. That's one thing. And second thing, it didn't make no sense for China to send a balloon. And I knew it right away. I tweeted. I said they're gonna wait until it's safely over water, either to try to bring it down so they know what kind of technology it has, or blow it up on top of water in case you never know. Maybe it has weapons or anything in there. The military is being smart and safe. They don't want to look stupid bombing their own cities. And to spy with a balloon, that's the silliest shit I ever heard. It's like 18 miles. It goes 18 miles an hour. I mean,
yeah.
I don't understand because they have satellites that could go around the Earth in 60 minutes, I think I heard, and take picture of everything. So it was just a right-wing talking point. Oh, the balloon.
Beijing Biden. Yeah, guy shot it down. What do you have to say now? They kept on saying Biden is owned by China, man. He's cucked to the Chinese, as if Trump didn't, actively serve their interests when he was in office. Not to mention the fact that him and his sons have multiple bank accounts, I'm pretty sure, based in China, under the control of the CCP. But to get back to this matter specifically, a lot of people wanted it shot down, and Biden did that. In terms of the move, I think if they were gonna do meteorology and they were gonna tell the U.S. government, okay, this is for China's meteorological purposes, we're not gonna spy on you, we're not gonna do anything nefarious, then I think they should have taken it up with America. But I kind of think it's a blunder on their part because people are intimidated by what they don't understand. And if they see this freaking UFO looking thing, like what is this white ball in the sky that's just, drifting across at 8 miles an hour? I mean, that's going to look suspicious one way or another. So look, on the one hand, I'm somewhat glad he
You have to
downed
blow
it
up.
because
Yeah,
because Republicans were using this as ammunition. Beijing Biden, he's cucking to China, but also I hope relations with China aren't escalated because of this.
First of all, people don't understand that it must have been a mistake. First of all, it was a public relation issue, and it was just a talking point for the assholes who have no agendas on our right side. And China made a mistake by doing that, especially at this time with relations are very tense. You don't need to bring a balloon, because ordinary people, they react to ordinary things. They don't know being spied every day and every minute with satellites in space, because they don't. What you don't see, you don't worry about. But when the average person in Missouri or Mississippi looks up in the sky, oh, the Chinese are on top of us, that's a problem. And they did shoot it down. And people, China is not that big monster. China needs the United States. If the United States was to pull all of its investments like they did in Russia in one day, they will have a famine. Because the Chinese changed their way. They moved from rural farming to factory working. And if these factories leave, these people have nothing. There's no food. There's no nothing. You understand? So China is just a boogeyman. It's a boogeyman. There's nothing there. They're losing about 500,000 people a year. The economy depends on the United States and on Western countries. And they already saw what happened to Russia. They fuck around. The United States is not some scary country or scared of anything. They just do things in a smart way. They were patient. See, they waited until the top of the wall and they shut it down. It was more of a public relation, I think, than it is. And what it did is it caused a lot of it distracted from the success of the job. The jobs, 500,000 jobs this quarter. The economy is doing great. 11.4 million jobs in the last 2 years. The unemployment is down since 1969. Hasn't been in 50 years or 52 years.
Yeah, lowest in half a century.
Yeah, so you got to give credit where credit is due, but they're not giving this guy credit. He's half dead. So I mean, he's still doing shit. He's better than the other asshole who spent most of his time. Are we gonna wear masks? We're not wearing masks. We're fighting over masks all over the United States while people are dying in hospitals and nursing homes.
Bleach will fix you right up if you have COVID. Pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal and trying his absolute best to start another war. Not only bombing Syria, but unprovoked killing an Iranian general. I mean,
he got paid for that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And also giving the Saudis as much money as they want to bomb, your country.
They give $2 billion to jail. What do you think? That was the payment right there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, we had no issue with that guy. All of a sudden, he decided to kill him.
Yeah, he was talking a big game about how. Biden too. They were both talking a big game about how we're going to hold the Saudis accountable for killing an American journalist, and nothing came of that. Because they literally dismembered Jamal Khashoggi. And what happens? Absolutely nothing. They look the other way. So much corruption in D.C. It's unspeakable. But here's a more in-depth look about the Chinese spy balloon. Let me close out this tab. Open this one up and present it. Here we go. Skip this ad. You can't skip this one. Damn it. Okay.
Moments ago, the U.S. shot down a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon off the coast of the Carolinas. A recovery operation is now underway. There have been calls for the U.S. to take this kind of action since the balloon's discovery was first announced on Thursday.
You hear it?
When asked if the U.S. would shoot it down.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. All right.
President Biden said we'll take care of it. Defense officials say the balloon was first spotted in U.S. airspace over Alaska, then seen over Montana.
They were constantly hammering him about Beijing Biden. He ain't gonna shoot this down. Next day.
Wednesday, where a brief aviation ground stop was ordered as defense officials considered shooting down the balloon. They decided to hold off, ultimately citing safety concerns for those on the ground. The balloon continued moving across the country, last seen over the Carolinas. The Chinese claimed that it was primarily a weather balloon that had floated into American airspace by force majeure.
According to them,
beyond their control. U.S. officials repeatedly said, though, that was not true, calling it a high-altitude surveillance balloon. The incident, of course, further sours relations between the world's superpowers. Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
Oh, I think it just popped. See that?
Relations between the world's superpowers. Secretary of State Antony Blinken postponing.
I was hoping they'd be done. See what kind of technology it has.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're probably going to keep that classified for a while, you know?
Yeah. Or probably going to self-explode, you know?
Yeah.
Colonel Steve Ganyard. Steve, what are officials going to be looking for at this point? And can you explain the delay in taking this action?
Yeah, Lindsay, they're going to be looking for the payload. The balloon's been taken care of. It's no longer a factor. But what they're going to look for is the payload that was attached underneath. We saw at least 16 solar panels that would have been powering the sensors that the U.S. believes was beaming data back to China. So you can be assured there's U.S. Navy and Coast Guard ships down below in the ocean waiting for that impact of that payload to start looking for the pieces to put that together to figure out what the Chinese were doing with this balloon over the U.S.
Steve Ganyard, we thank you so much, and we do want to say that this video that we're looking at right now is courtesy of Fox News. Be sure to stay with ABC News and abcnews.com. I'm Linda Davis. We'll be back later with World News Tonight.
All right. So, I don't know if we want to watch more, but I hope they're not up to something really
They're not up to
malicious.
The Chinese will not dare fuck around the United States. They're not in no position. Don't believe the boogeyman. China is not the boogeyman. China knows the United States holds all the cards economically, military. They don't have no. China is dependent on the United States investment on Apple alone. You understand what I'm saying, Free?
Yeah.
They don't make anything. All the stuff they make is either stolen technology or American investments. You know how many trillions and hundreds of trillions of dollars American money's in China right now running around and keeping the economy propped up?
Yeah, it's all American money, American labor that they're outsourcing.
They pull out the same way they did from Russia one day when McDonald's closed, 800 restaurants and Starbucks 700 restaurants, everything. But everybody just left and say fuck it, and they forfeited billions and billions of dollars in investment. That's it. China will collapse. The Chinese economy moved from a rural farming economy to a factory-driven economy. So people are not planting foods like they used to, dependent on the land to eat. They are dependent on economic income. They need cash in their hand to buy from stores. So if you pull that away from them, it's over. You will create a famine right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm starting to think, there's a debate in me between, like China isn't a threat, or they pose somewhat of a threat on an espionage level. But I keep on thinking to myself on this side, we're their greatest customer, and without our business, they have absolutely nothing to go off of. They'll have to buy more from that Eurasian sphere with Putin in Central Asia and investors in Southeast Asia. Their money is a bit less stable than American investments, and I keep on thinking to myself, if we pull our money out of China,
that's it. It's over.
They're gone.
Yeah. Look at if you go back 40 years ago, China was just this unorganized country with no real factory base, nothing. They had nothing. Poor. They had people under the poverty line, more than 500 million people, but they've been able to lift more than 300 million people out of the poverty line due to foreign investment. They make things for free. They work like, they work for $1 an hour, $2 an hour, $3 an hour for Nike, for Apple, for all these American companies, for all foreign companies investor. Once that money leaves, especially one time, it doesn't matter. It will collapse under its own weight. Because what do the Chinese make? They make 99-cent item for what? For Walmart?
Yeah.
The 99-cent store. What do you buy? You don't go to the... let me get a Chinese computer. Have you ever went there? Oh, let me get a Chinese car. You never did that. Have you done that? Huh? No. What do they make? Nothing. Just cheap stuff. And it doesn't even belong to them. It belongs to American factories, American-owned factories.
It's RIP.
Yeah, the only problem is that I don't like corporate America when they're building up an enemy for us to make a profit. Once that enemy becomes dangerous, like a Frankenstein, the monster's coming, but you made that monster. Yeah,
and all your investments are still there overseas.
Yeah, for profit.
Making the widgets cheaper than American workers demand.
They have 1 million Muslims, 2 million Uyghurs. The Uyghurs, they're all in camps.
It's an absolute genocide. I mean, it's a bloodbath. Yeah, and our money, our corporate money, which we really don't have any control over the decisions these mega conglomerates make. Their money is there, and people are mostly silent about this. Obviously, there's Uyghur activist groups, but if we just brought back manufacturing, and not in, this performative way like Trump said he was going to do, where he just, got a few million jobs out of there, then immediately lost those jobs to COVID, and then did nothing about it.
He was such an idiot. I'm sorry, Free. He was such an idiot. He put tariff on their products. He said, "We're making China pay. We're paying the American. You are paying." And what they did is they fucked the farmers up. They started buying soybeans, and they killed the whole farming industry here. And we had to subsidize the farmers. What he was doing is he was taking money from us who buy the dumb stuff, and taking our money from tariff and giving it to the farmers. So we're not winning anything. The whole idea is, you heard of the term decoupling? Decoupling?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Well, it's an economic term for us in China. We're a couple right now. We're almost like a couple economically. They want to it's like a divorce. They are working on a divorce. They want to decouple and they want to separate all that entanglement they had on all that interdependent, because the United States realized in the end they were building a monster for the future. You understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they thought they were going to change it. They didn't change it. They thought they were going to give them capitalism, economic prosperity. It's still communism, whatever you want to call it. Oh, especially with this guy, what's his name? Xi Jinping. He's president for life. At least they had something. They used to meet every 10 years. They elect a different guy. They have some sort of change. I mean, you don't need that, man. But the shameful thing is that everybody was like, it's like, gotcha. American, look, we got the balloon. We scared to get it. We scared to hit it.
We beat them. Mission accomplished.
Where's the unity? What about if they invade us? What are they going to say? Oh, we will let Biden fight them? What the hell is wrong with these people, man? These are sick son of BS.
Yeah. Man. I mean, it's so obvious they want another war. With as bat crap insane as Trump's foreign policy was, and with how they're propping up China as the next international threat. They did this with India, then Middle Easterners and Pakistan especially, and in the 80s it was the Japanese. Who again just have all our investments. Yeah. It's sort of the same thing. It's always an Asian guy, man. I mean, are they jealous or something? I don't know. But anyway, that's that. I hope these China relations just don't spiral out of control.
They're not going to spiral. They know. Yeah. The only thing the issue is that what they're doing is, I like happy. Hold on, give me a second. All
right, yeah.
Give me a second.
I'll pull up the next thing.
Okay.
All right. So, the killing of Tyree. No. So, here is Michael No Less, as I like to call him. His real name is Michael No Less, but I like to call him Michael No Less. And he's here to explain to us as to why racism actually isn't systemic and actually can't persist amongst black communities. So the general premise of his, ridiculous, absurd conception of racism is that white people can only be racist towards other races. Well, first of all, he doesn't even believe systemic racism exists, but he only thinks white people can be racist towards other races. But inside of certain races, they can't be racist. So, obviously, all the cops involved in the death of Tyree Nichols were black. As a lot of people in the Southeast are. Now, what right-wingers either fail to understand because they just can't comprehend nuance, or are just lying about because they're grifting, which, obviously Michael No Less is. Yeah. Racism is systemic. Right. A very few people in the 21st century are going out to treat minorities in different ways because they're just evil like that. Yeah. Most people just don't realize how systemic injustices and marginalization affect people of color. And we've seen this with Ferguson, because it was one of the most corrupt police forces in the country, and they had all these racial disparities in the criminal justice system, longer sentences for the same amount of crimes, heavily increased traffic stops, disproportionately. And what people like this just lie to their audience about is that, racism that affects people of color more drastically than it does white people, which is called, oppression and marginalization, it can happen within mostly black spheres.
Nichols, an unarmed...
You there? You froze or?
I guess my Wi-Fi is just, acting up.
Ignite.
Yeah, I'll do my best to continue.
The perennial debate over race and police. Now,
Yeah, it wouldn't be perennial and continuous if we actually replaced the police with a more effective system like social work, which was designed to de-escalate situations with a proportional amount of, verbal and physical direction. But, okay.
This case is different from the other prominent officer-involved killings that had preceded it, George Floyd, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, in that not only was the deceased person black, but all of the officers involved in his death were also black. And it all took place in Memphis, a city that is 65% black.
Okay. Yes, because disparate outcomes can still affect black people, even though most of the people in that, local area are black. Like, I don't see what you're failing to understand here. Isn't this a coherent idea in and of itself? Go ahead.
That's what CRT tried to address, that not only people could be racist, so institutions could be racism. Even if they are good intended institutions, they still are part of there is racism in them. So the whole police department, the police or the law enforcement sometimes is very violent or I don't know how to say the word. I mean, it's like an entity within itself. It's like a race within itself. You understand what I'm trying to say here? So it doesn't matter. I mean, if you look at how the police were founded just after the Reconstruction to round up black people. That was the whole thing. That's how the police were founded, or the idea of policing was. Yeah. Let's hear this piece of shit here.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, former
and Omar, I'm really glad you brought up that point about CRT, because the critical race theorists, they say, okay, very few people nowadays are being racist for the sake of being racist. It's just that we need nuance. We need to realize that wherever disparate racial outcomes may come about, we need to solve those problems, okay? And it mostly gives, a positive outlook on people. Most people are good, decent morally for the most part, but we need to recognize racism where it manifests and actually deal with it. Instead of, just a bunch of kids coming out, protesting, nothing happening, then, the next black guy gets killed before he's even in custody, technically, then a bunch of people protesting, and it's, a cycle all over again. Let's get through this.
Democrat Mondaire Jones warns people not to be distracted by those facts. If you think...
Wait, what?
Jones wrote, the Memphis police officers had to be white in order to exhibit anti-blackness. You need to take that AP African American Studies course Ron DeSantis just banned.
Yes, because if you actually look into the history of racism, a good chunk of it was reified. The institution of slavery and Jim Crow laws were reified by these, tokenizing black people who thought the status quo was better than actually, ameliorating racism. It's like Candace Owens, someone who's clearly tokenizing her identity for that oil billionaire grift money. And, she thinks the status quo is better than, anti-racism in and of itself.
Yes, everyone involved was black, but they were still motivated by anti-blackness, which is just another woke buzz term meaning white supremacy.
Yes, absolutely. The institutions we've propped up are fundamentally white supremacist, and we need to make them more egalitarian. We need to tear them down and replace them with a better system.
Point out on social media.
I got a message today for some white people.
Oh no! Oh, I haven't pre-watched this. I'm pretty sure this is just going to consist of him clip chimping, TikToks, because any just dumb TikToker can, go on the internet and say something careless that they haven't put thought into.
I could go to the good liars on Twitter and get you all these dumb white people saying dumb shit like before. They didn't even know. I could have a whole show on them. So it doesn't really matter. The whole issue is, I want to ask you something free. I don't know if you noticed that most the America First or the racist assholes or advocate in some form of dog whistling are Italians and Irish. The people that were oppressed 100 years ago. They were called donkeys and wops. They used to hang Italians in New Orleans like black people. They lynched them like.
Isn't Fuentes Cuban? Nick Fuentes?
He's Italian.
No, he's Mexican, right?
Mexican Italian. And he's saying he's the Pharaoh of the white race. I mean, he would be kicked out if there was a purity contest.
I mean, it's just
insane,
we have white people.
He's Irish, all of them. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, and this is also a good argument in favor of against racial essentialism because conservatives nowadays constantly blame black culture, quote unquote, for all this gang violence. Well, okay, we've seen this with the Italians and the Irish, and to an extent, the Germans and the Jews when they initially came here in the raids.
Murder Incorporated.
Yeah, because when they're relegated to these inner cities and they have few job opportunities and they've, are essentially born behind the rest of the American populace, where do you think they're going to go to get a leg up? Gangs, who promise them, a good opportunity, but eventually they just end up getting shot. So it's not a race thing. It's a capitalism thing. It's an environment thing.
It's an economical.
Listening, paying attention. I wouldn't mind if you would do this with me. We rub our chests, we find our heartbeat, and we say, we did this. We did this. White supremacy did this. I'm talking about Tyree Nichols. Police didn't do this.
It's the institution,
Police Department didn't do this.
Yeah. I think what this person's trying to say here is that it fundamentally transcends police. Obviously, police did it, but what the police do is a greater reflection of our institutions and the way they're set up to reify white supremacy as an institution.
White supremacy did this.
So I think this could have been worded more carefully and more thought could have been put into it, but
these are normal people. They just say what comes to their head. They put on the camera. They don't think it through. But if you realize, there was a study one time in a university where they took these college kids and put some of them as prisoners and some of them as guard. After a week, they started abusing the prisoners. It was a study. It's a famous study. It shows you that people, when they have a little power over other people, it has nothing to do with color anymore, especially your own kind. They will abuse that power on you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was at some sort of Ivy League school. Pretty much all the kids were white, college age.
I read about it a long time ago. It was a very famous study. And all these police officers that did the violence, they've been there 3 or 4 years, so they didn't have no real training. They didn't have no good oversight. I mean, it was like it was a gangland mentality what they did. And when you saw that video, it was shameful because the guy was saying it doesn't have to go. He was saying it doesn't have to go this far. I mean, there's no reason for what you're doing. The whole idea is that institutions sometimes could have a life of their own. So what I'm trying to say here, sometimes if it's not outright racism, it's the institutions that are racist, but not even racist, that are violent driven or intoxicated with power. Once they have that gun and that badge, whatever, they don't see the idea of white and black, whatever it is, because the way they beat him up was unbelievable. And they had another guy. See the guy they shot in California? He has no legs. Yeah, he stabbed somebody. Yeah, but they say he's trying to get away. Let him. How far is he gonna get away? Just let him run around where he has no legs. What is weird? Yeah, let him get tired. Don't shoot him 6 times. I don't understand what's going on with.
They're constantly trying to portray them as thugs. Okay, even if that is 100% the case, cops, even when people are in custody, they aren't supposed to kill guilty people either. That's outside of the cops' purview. Okay, Yeah, they bring people to the judge. They're not their own judge, juries, and executioners, and that's what these conservatives deliberately omit. Okay, because it's fundamentally built on being a horrible person.
Yeah,
conservatism. So just
listen,
the cops have been arrested.
Yeah,
they're presumed innocent until proven guilty, even though the video evidence that we have is pretty damning. But by the standard of the left, viral nobodies and prominent politicians alike, even if the cops are convicted, it wasn't really the cops' fault.
No, I think it is the cops' fault, but how black people are disproportionately treated in relation to white people, that reflects the embedded racism in our institutions, and it's more of a subconscious thing, because not all people are deliberately, trying to go to KKK rallies every Saturday night and just lynch the N-words. It's deeply embedded in our systems, and we need to extirpate every semblance of it. That's what we're saying.
On the left, the responsibility for Tyree Nichols' killing, and really for all the evils in the world, lies with white people and their
literally who is saying that.
System
You're not white, Michael. You're not white.
The white.
Yeah.
Michael, go take
in a white ethno state, you would not be considered, the pure-blooded.
He's probably 12% Arab. The Arab were in Italy for 700 years. The Moors. They call them the Moors.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I just hate that when they got that jacket. When they play golf and they win that jacket. Every new ethnic group, they think they belong now. They wear that white jacket. We are the white people. We are the new white people. We got the deed to the United States. Michael, look at me. I'm whiter than I am. Huh? I'm whiter than I am. Believe me. You understand? And the whole issue is not being black or white. Not everything has to go down in color. These people, they race bait every day. Every day. What's it called? The Daily Wire. They will attack the
Daily Liar.
The LGBTQ community and race. LGBTQ community and race. This is their bread and butter. That's what they do. And that's what
and it's mostly all just TikToks from users with 2 followers on that platform, and they pretty much don't cover actual politics now, besides, vaguely acknowledging, okay, this happened in the Senate, but look at this TikToker, this wokester lib. Isn't she really, really dumb? And that's all their content at this point.
Because they're losing. In the end, the culture, they're going to lose it. Because people don't like people say no. People like people say yes. You can do whatever you want, but don't hurt other people.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you like, as long as it's in your privacy of your home. You can do whatever you want, as long as you keep it to yourself. As long as your rights doesn't expand to another person's rights. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If your rights are within your rights, you could do whatever you want, my friend. I have no issue with you, as long as that I feel safe around you, that I don't interfere in your life. You don't interfere in my life. Then everybody could live and let live. All this Christian bullshit. They're all cocks, man. Who are the most of the cocks? All these religious assholes. Remember Jerry Falwell Jr.?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He paid $4 million to the poor boy so he could watch. I would have done that shit for $100,000. Shit.
Yeah. They're all repressed, and they're all up to some weird shit with kids.
This is Matt Child from the organization? What is it called? CPAC.
Yeah.
You read about it? He's grabbing the guy's dick while he's drunk. Come on, man. These people are liars, man. They hit.
Because they're fundamentally self-hating at the end of the day. All that repressed gayness is eventually going to manifest somewhere. Especially if it's with people who don't exactly consent to having their dicks groped. Yeah. So Omar, have you seen that list I'm constantly posting on Twitter?
No, I didn't
of convicted Republican pedophiles. I'll bring it up later, but let's respond to this.
Has been released. Officers Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith have all been charged with 2 counts of official misconduct, 1 count of official oppression, second-degree murder, obviously the biggest one there, aggravated assault, act in concert, and 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping. The video footage looks very, very bad. There is one question that remains, which is, why did they pull this guy over? They say that they pulled him over for reckless driving. The head of police in Memphis says that we don't have evidence of that yet, so we don't know. Really, the cameras kind of click on as this is happening. So you don't.
Yeah, they should have had their body cams
really
on
see
when
equally
he was
as far as the
driving
counter.
if they
Then,
wanted to, you
Tyree
know,
Nichols
solidify
resists
that
arrest
charge
and
against him.
runs away, and then they get him, and they basically just beat this guy to death. He doesn't die on the scene. They don't get him medical attention. He dies later at the hospital. It's really damning stuff. It's hard to imagine these guys are going to get off the hook for it, but.
And you think they should?
Proven guilty, so we'll see if anything comes out on trial as to why they pulled him over in the first place, why this escalated so quickly. One theory that is going around right now, a very politically incorrect theory, is that these cops were hired with lowered standards.
I thought you were all about being politically incorrect, you know, going against the wokesters in PC culture. Wasn't that your whole shtick?
So this is a theory. Law enforcement official Karen Omar says, according to a source within the...
For them, it's a win-win situation. They're going to degrade the victim and degrade the police officers. The police officers were just hired because due to, what do you call it, affirmative action. They didn't deserve to be police officers, you know. That's what happened when you put black officers. So for them, the right-wing the douchebag, I don't say douchebag, it's not a curse, it's a win. They get to degrade the victim and the police officer at the same time. So it's a buy one, get one free for them. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Listen, he's going to say it. He's going to say it.
But they lowered the standards.
Lowered standards, see?
It happens. Whether it happened here, it remains to be seen, but it is being reported by multiple outlets. And this...
Let's raise the standards for actually who can, you know, enforce the law and patrol it. As a matter of fact, let's fundamentally replace it with a better system that's designed to de-escalate situations and keep them from getting violent, wherever that may manifest. Let's adopt more of a social worker mentality, you know... Some people may call it police abolition, but I gotta go mask on. Okay? Let me crank the
We're going to get rid of the ACT. We're going to lower the entry exams to become a cop or to become a firefighter. We're
that's bad.
Not enough women are in the military. We want more women in the military. Let's lower the physical requirements to get into the military.
Yeah, dude, you're a fortune
an opportunity.
teller, man.
They're going to degrade the police officers because they're black, and it's affirmative action. They're just hiring black people because they're black, and they need to fill a quota. You know how liberals are. If they were, you know, they get to vote. They get to win twice. They get to talk twice. They get to degrade the victim for being. If he's black, he would never have been shot if he was a good white kid. And the police officers, you know, just hire them. You know, affirmative action. They needed to fill the quota. You know, because you got to hire black people after Black Lives Matter. You know,
and you know, if the officers were white, his mouth would be absolutely shut about all this affirmative action nonsense.
Yeah.
It becomes a lowering to the lowest common denominator. And you see this in the right...
Lowest common denominator, wow. Mask off moment.
That's why they did not give us a democracy. That's why they write so disparagingly about democracy. It's why they didn't even give us quite a republic or just a representative democracy.
Remember when they were invading Iraq and Afghanistan and they were constantly talking about how the U.S. was the bastion of Western democracy and how we were free and, you know, gave people immaculate rights and we treated women good. Well, okay, they want the same society as those, you know, barbaric, really puritanical forms of Islam. You know, I'm talking about the Taliban form of Islam. You know, you like that. That's your worldview. So, you know, why are you conquering them?
listen to what he's saying. If you go back a little bit, he's talking about that the founding fathers they didn't give us a full democracy or republic for a reason. He's trying to make he's advocate. I don't know if he's advocating. Let's hear what he's saying. Just a little bit.
In that the American form of government
listen closely
really includes aspects of all three types of government. There are three types of government: monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy. And according to
listen.
ancient writer Polybius, those are the three good versions of that government. It's not that only one of those is good, the other two are terrible. All three can be good, but they have a corrupted version too. The corruption of monarchy is tyranny, the corruption of aristocracy is oligarchy, the corruption of democracy is mob rule. And
you are expressly for oligarchy, okay? Like, you're paid by fracking billionaires to spout the most grifty, erroneous nonsense, okay? So you can, you know, quiet yourself about corruption, my man.
He views this as a kind of cycle of regimes that is constantly going to evolve. So what the American founders and framers tried to do is establish a regime that includes aspects of all of them. You have a monarchical element in the strong executive and the president. You have an aristocratic element, certainly in the Senate and elsewhere in the government, a representation for the...
And they'll constantly, like, shit on Biden for acting like a king or like an autocrat, you know? So many contradictions.
Landed classes, especially when there were more stringent voting requirements, and it was just a...
Yeah, like when blacks and women couldn't vote. Oh,
Yeah, they used to pick coins when the Italians came here. The blacks stopped picking coins. They hired they took the. I'm talking serious history here, Free. I'm not making it up, man. They were
yeah.
treated like
Well,
shit.
it's true.
They were considered black. Italians were not even considered white. And Irish, though they're from the northern part of Europe, they were considered bad stock because they believed in the Pope. They thought the Pope was witchery and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
they were treated like garbage. All of a sudden today, they are the gatekeepers of America. Everybody else is bad. The immigrants are bad, and they are the chosen ones. Come on, man. Stop.
Yeah. This is what the critical race theorists also said. Whiteness
Yeah.
was a position you needed to move up to. You needed to like prove yourself to be worthy of whiteness. It's like, and you know what is white at the end of the day?
Look at
Because
that,
you know.
yeah.
All these American Nazis say, "Oh yeah, European culture shall be one ethno-state," and it's like if you talk to European Nazis, they can't stand the other guy, you know, half a mile away from him. He's like an alien, like a different species. So to think Europe is this homogenous block,
No.
you're insane, man. Whiteness, it doesn't exist, man. It doesn't exist.
Italy itself, the northern Italy looks down on the southern Italians. The northern Italians think of themselves as more elites, more light skinned, more white. While the southern Italy, like Sicily and all, were mixed with the Africa and the Mediterranean. They don't even agree on each other. The whole idea is every time there's a group that try to wear that jacket, you know, that golf jacket when you win the tournament. Right
Yeah.
now in Miami, you have the Cubans. The Cubans, you know, they wearing that jacket, they intoxicated, you know, and all of that. So, you know, it doesn't make no sense, man.
Yeah.
Every time one group gets a little bit of power, no, we are the gatekeepers. We have the deed to America. Everybody else does not belong, and we don't need them. Michael, please, Michael.
Michael, no less.
No less.
Michael, no less.
No less. I live in New York. I have lived with Italians. They are very good people, especially the old timers, the people who are still like the young guys, okay, but the old timers. I dealt with them in business. They are the best people, kind. Dealt with Irish, the older Irish. They're very generous, But these people, the young ones, and some of these assholes, all of a sudden they get a little podcast. All of a sudden everybody's bad, they're good. The immigrants, those brown menace, they're no good. They invaded America. Shut up, man. Shut up.
You were the brown menace at one
They're called the
time.
WAP. They go ahead, look at WOP. They used to call them WAPs without papers, man. It was these Italians. Italians were the most mistreated people in the United States. It's always been like that in the United States. The Anglo-Saxons hated the Germans because they thought they were going to change their culture. Once the Germans became Americans, they hated the Italians and they hated the Irish when the Irish started coming. Then the Italians and Irish, they lived together because they were hated. Why do you think in New York most of the cops are Irish and the sanitations are Irish? Because these are jobs nobody wanted in the 1920s. They were considered low-grade jobs. To be a police officer in New York was nothing. It was garbage. Or to be, all of a sudden, then things change for the better. It's good. I'm not knocking down the communities as a whole, but I just don't like certain aspects from that community. All of a sudden now we're wearing that jacket, that jacket we got now. We're part of that. We made it to the club. Now we're going to lock the door on everybody else. Don't do that, man. Because, I mean, me and Michael knows I would pass white before he would pass. Maybe when I start talking, they know I'm a foreigner because my language is a little mixed up a little bit here and there, or because my tongue. But in the long run, you have to accept others.
Yeah.
The only way to succeed as a country is to be a multicultural country where people bring a little bit of their own flavor to the table and their own knowledge, and we create this beautiful product called America. Every group, every ethnicity that came here has brought something to the table. You understand?
Yeah.
My people are from Yemen. We first immigrated to the United States in 1869, according to the census. They wouldn't give us any citizenship unless we fought in World War I and World War II. For that, they used to give us citizenship. Then we had to sue because let me give you a little story. The Arabs over here, there was a police officer, Arab police officer, arrested a white guy in California. You can look it up how we became white, how we Arabs became white in the United States. This is a strange story. So the father sued the police officer that he's not allowed to arrest his son because he's not white and he's not a citizen. You understand? It went to the Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court, then the Arabs sued. They said that we need to be identified and classified. What are we? Because they only had 3 classification: yellow, black, and orange. A yellow, they considered, the Asians at that time. It's a racist term, but at that time.
Yeah.
And they did a study, and they said Arabs are white. It's the Supreme Court. The whole idea, it's not the matter who you are or what color. I mean, color should not be an ethnicity or anything. Your deeds. I mean, what you do. I mean, how. I mean, I don't understand what's going on, man. Social media.
I don't know if you've seen this George Carlin routine, because it's always a distraction. Okay.
Yeah.
It's always a distraction by the rich. Race. Gender. Sexuality, religion, all this.
How do you think white became a race? In 1676, they had the Bacon Rebellion in Virginia, where it started bad because the Mr. Bacon, the guy who led the revolt against the whites, he wanted to get rid of the Indians and take their land. The people said no, so he gathered all the slaves, all the indentured servants, and they attacked the Jamestown, and they attacked the white elites and kicked them out and destroyed and burned down the whole city. So in 1672, the first term of white started coming in the within the conversation, like the Oxford said the first time. Then they had to pull the poor whites toward them. That time, the white elites decided to use poor whites as a vehicle to get to where they want to go. Make them vote, get them to vote for dumb shit against the other. There you go. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
With all the fun. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society.
Let me play from the beginning.
Now, to balance the scale, I'd like to talk about some things that bring us together. Things that point out our similarities instead of our differences. Because that's all you ever hear about in this country is our differences. That's all the media and the politicians are ever talking about, the things that separate us, things that make us different.
They're distractions. They're red herrings.
From one another. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They try to divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money.
That's right.
Fairly simple.
That's exactly right.
To work. Anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education.
Yeah, look up the idea of bourgeois nationalism. This is an academic concept, and Carlin's using it in his routine here.
Social status, sexuality, anything you can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
It's class, people. It's class, okay? I want to just finish this no less video because, we're at the end of it.
This guy stops running right outside the frame of the camera. He can see the camera, too. He's a little bit further out. He goes, hey, guys, you want to come over here? I said, no. He goes, oh. Can you give me some money? I said, no. He goes, oh. He goes, can you pray for me? We said, yes. Yes, we can pray.
Thoughts and prayers. I'll give you my thoughts and prayers. Every time one of these gun lobbyists and one of their shareholders and their executives, if one of their children gets cancer or something, don't give them chemo. Give them your thoughts and prayers, and your prayers and your thoughts and your thoughts and your prayers. Not anything effective, not anything that actually works. Just your thoughts and your prayers. And all these conservatives complaining about the wokies, the trans, the blacks, infiltrating their culture and how they're being manipulated. Maybe everything you hold dear is going to shit, but I'll give you my thoughts and my prayers and my prayers and my thoughts. Okay, well, I don't mean to disparage religion, but we can pray and at the same time get legislation passed, okay? Can we do both? I mean, that's what I'm saying, okay?
Absolutely. And I kid you not, he goes, can you pray for me over here? he's
I don't know what he's talking about at this point.
Hey, come on over here so I can jump you and steal your money. This was 2 blocks off Beale Street, the main part of Memphis, okay?
I think Matt Walsh is slightly dumber, but yeah.
Crazy.
So I don't think Memphis is going to be served by taking cops off the streets. I think probably Memphis needs many more cops on the streets.
Oh, more cops. Oh, that's what solves crime. That's what solves crime.
You see, you see where the sickness was?
You still need training. You still need high standards. And you still need justice served. I mean, you can't.
Don't you
can't
notice
allow just-
because they're black cop, they had no standards, they had no good training.
Yeah.
There was a white cop. Oh, wasn't that the guy was bad? He was talking back to them. They
Yeah.
had to defend themselves.
Yeah,
We
it
don't
was,
know
he was a
yeah, we don't know what
thug.
was going on before the cameras went on. He probably was, he had a knife in his hand. Those white cops had to react. But with the black cops, it's standard. It's affirmative action, and we got to mix the police station after Black Lives Matter. We had to hire anybody we see in the street. So it's all about bad hiring. You understand what they do?
Yeah,
This is shit, man.
and this is a good argument against racial ethno states, because that's what this guy fundamentally believes. Okay, well,
What
you're
troubles me
saying
is-
that there's still disparate treatment of minorities even amongst these racially concentrated areas, these predominantly black spheres. So doesn't that mean diversity is fundamentally a good thing? Because if racism persists even in these black spheres, and if we integrate, then that doesn't make a difference now, does it? It's almost like racism is beyond skin deep. It's more this underlying system that just needs to be extirpated from society, right?
Yeah.
But maybe that's crazy talk. Okay. Anyway, Dave Rubin.
So I came down and I did a video on it just before. It's gonna come out tomorrow.
Yeah, he has a short video on this.
Oh, he talked about it. I have an issue with him when he tried to make fun of Ilhan Omar. He said she's married to her brother.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, not
Well,
that he's married to a fucking man. But it's okay, about how, what I'm saying? He tried to make her look bad, and it was a debunked. Go ahead, man.
You only want to go for an hour. I don't know if you want me to end this stream and then go on to my own channel to do it, but
Okay, let's go.
I'm willing to I'm willing to prolong this stream because you want to get off at around 7:10 or something like that, because that'll be an hour, and I'm just willing to go another half hour, so
Okay, yeah, I can
He
see
is a
you
woke
continue, that's
leftist
it.
with
yeah, that'll
completely
work better,
broken.
so I don't have to restart the whole thing, then
No,
continue
okay,
on.
you are completely broke through woke. You make everything about race. Here he is talking to
Wait, we are not making everything about race, okay? We're just critiquing these systemic inequalities that have persisted for generations, okay?
New York City Mayor Eric Adams about the death of Tyree Nichols. Now, Tyree Nichols is the black man who, by every estimation, was just unjustly killed by 5 black police officers. They were all black. There were no whiteys involved. in it.
It's almost like racism, systemic racism, actually even exists in majority black spheres.
This thing no longer
How could that be?
Okay, but of course, when 5 black officers kill a black man, it has to be, of course, racism. Here's Don Lemon.
Okay, Let me
Yes.
ask you, the Chief C.J. Davis, in my interview with her, she said that all the officers being black, it takes race off the table. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I think that I understand what the chief was saying, and I think she really handled this situation in a very professional way. She moved swiftly. She ensured that those officers were removed from the department. She took all the necessary steps. But I think race is still on the table. When a culture of policing historically has treated those from different groups differently, even when the individuals are from that same group, that culture can still exist, and we have to zero.
It's the police as an institution. It needs to be replaced with something better.
Yes.
Something committed to due process instead of jackbooted thuggery.
The police were founded under the premises of racism against black people to round up the slaves in the South and these free slaves who were just hanging around. They had no jobs. So the whole institution was founded on racism or on white supremacy. And these black people are just, or these black officers are just reacting because critical race theory tells you it doesn't. Racism is not only individuals; it's even even people want to do good. Even with
Absolutely.
intention, sometimes you are really it's bad. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So institutions are individuals in a way. In a way. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah. Individuals collectively, that's what makes up institutions.
Yeah.
Honest about it and making sure that we.
I mean, this is why I came around to affirmative action because, okay, we know hiring disparities exist between whites and blacks in a lot of employment sectors. So, you know, to be anti-racist and to be more egalitarian, maybe we can, you know, give people a leg up. It's just what I'm thinking. You know?
Properly trained police for the realities of the cities that they are policing.
Do you realize how crazy this is? There you have.
Yeah, the fact that you're grifting for an oil billionaire check is very crazy.
Of Eric Adams, who happens to be black, and Don Lemon, who happens to be black. I don't care that either one of them are black. I really don't.
Right.
And I generally don't care about the color of
There's a
police
grifter.
officers, and I don't care about the color of the perpetrators.
That's
If you
the
break
Grinch.
the law,
You ever
you
see the
threaten people, all
Grinch?
those things, it has to be dealt with.
Yeah, he also mentions, I don't care about the colors of the perpetrators, and also mentions that they were black officers, you know, because he did that earlier.
He's dishonest, because if he's dishonest on himself, he's going to be dishonest on other people. If he's willing to latch himself to right-wing organizations and be a part of those organizations that looks down on him and see him as a bad person, or people or that frowns on his behavior or his lifestyle, and still latch to these people, he has no self-respect. You cannot respect a person like that, because if you don't respect yourself, no one does. You understand?
Yeah.
When Ben Shapiro said he wouldn't even go to his fucking wedding, he wouldn't give him a cake, he wouldn't give him nothing. Stuff like his face, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and okay, a good indicator of who's a grifter or not, if they've had a really big political change, is that are they chasing money? They're probably a grifter, because people like Hunter Avallone and T.J. Kirk, if they had stayed conservative, they would have gotten so much more money and so much more subscribers. And now their channels have tanked, and thankfully they're rebuilding them up now.
What's that? What are they called?
Hunter Avallone and The Amazing Atheist. TJ Kirk.
Hunter Avallone. I know who it is.
Yeah, you know who The Amazing Atheist is? TJ Kirk.
I think I see his Twitter.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
He runs a podcast called Deep Fat Fried. It's pretty good. But yeah, let's.
Now this by again every estimation is a completely unjust killing. What they did was horrible. But if you think that 5 black police officers were acting with racism in their heart as they killed them,
No. Oh my God. Okay. Racism is typically not this, you know, malevolent, you know, idea. Must kill blacks. Must kill blacks. Shoot unarmed black men. Yes. No. It's this socioeconomic standard by which blacks get marginalized as a racial group more than whites. Okay?
black guys.
I mean,
then racism has no meaning whatsoever. Black people are the biggest anti-black racists. Like, what are we actually saying here? But this was the danger of the woke, and this is why you must get woke out of schools, because once it has permeated all of the
and by woke, they just mean the acknowledgement that racism exists.
Okay, how about why do we allow gay marriages? Isn't that woke? Can we get that out of the way too?
You're raping children, Dave. Quit talking about, you know, your lifestyle.
Dave,
Don't mention that your husband exists, okay?
Yeah,
as far as you know,
husband.
he doesn't exist, all right?
We gave you a husband, Dave. We gave you a husband, man. We made you legalize. We legalized your life. We made you feel secure, and you could inherit your husband, and your husband could inherit your insurance, man.
Yeah, and
You
he's
go to fucking
working
Florida.
against the people who gave him that tax break,
Yeah,
okay?
It's all about money. Just chill out, man. I have no respect for him. Nothing. You understand? Nothing.
Yeah. And, you know, by woke, he means, one, the acknowledgement that, you know, any racism whatsoever exists, and 2, the acknowledgement that any queer people exist. Because, hypothetically, okay, let me bring up something you wouldn't expect. Logo. Let me bring it up here. So, hypothetically, if you showed this in a school, you'd be charged with a felony. In Ron DeSantis' Florida.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Italian, right? He's Italian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I told you.
And, you know, I'm pretty sure
He's
Dave
an
Rubin.
idiot. He lives in a bubble. You see, I could tell.
Yeah.
He's goofy. He became a little, you know, more of a. He started talking, you know, after Trump built him up a little bit. But if he gets out of that bubble, if he travels outside of Florida, it's not gonna work. He's running for president for Florida right now. That's it. Gas stoves he's protecting. working with guys, whatever, especially the curriculum in school.
Omar, I have a gas stove,
all
and
have.
it doesn't seem like anyone's actually coming
very
for
good.
it. Could it be that this is all a right-wing lie
Bullshit.
to drum
They
up absolute
They
BS?
are empty. They have nothing to tank. They have no ideas. They don't have nothing to offer society. Nothing.
Yeah.
They have people without ideas.
Once you have taught a generation of young people to think everything is about gender and race and those immutable characteristics, you can get them to
No,
think
okay.
and
The only thing we're preaching is that, okay, we need to accept these people. And because they're not accepted, they get disproportionately affected as groups by people like you. So, it's almost like the right actually, focuses on gender and race and all these distractors so the bourgeois can run off with all the frickin' money. Isn't that it, Dave? Call me crazy, but I'm starting to think the real issue is class.
In the 90s and 80s, people stood bigger against gays and homosexuals. They used to attack them, and until people change their mind, you have to. Imagine of course, everything's about bigotry and race, but you have to tell people when no is no and yes is yes. You cannot. You have to protect everybody. But Dave Rubin has not even an inch of self-respect in his whole body. I mean,
Yeah.
They have mistreated him time after time, called him out every time, and he doesn't care. Even when he declared that he's having 2 babies and they were coming down on him, he blamed the war cause. The war cause, shut up, man. Nobody gives a damn if you bought 2 babies.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. So, you want to depart
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm tired. I had a good time. I'm glad to see you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad, man. I'm glad you're alive and doing
I don't
it.
know how to leave. I'm just gonna leave from here, right from the bottom.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just click out if you want.
All right. Take care, man. Good luck.
Yeah. See ya. So, I'm actually gonna take a break, but I'm gonna continue for a few more minutes to cover the Ilhan Omar story. So, all I'm just gonna do is use the bathroom and finish Dave's video up because we're gonna have to take a look at how Ilhan Omar was absolutely disgustingly mistreated by House Republicans in particular. They voted to oust her from the Foreign Policy Committee and the Foreign Affairs Committee, and that was absolutely disgraceful. So we will be back in I guess y'all saw me frantically, get back into position there. But we're just gonna finish up this grifter's video.
Crazy bullshit that you want.
Okay, so that's the outro to prolong his video to almost 3 minutes. But let's get to the Ilhan Omar story. Let me pull the link up. So, if you haven't heard, Ilhan Omar, I believe a Somalian congresswoman, has been ousted from her respective committee. I think it was the Foreign Affairs Committee specifically. Yeah. And even though she was a good voice for this, she ultimately got ousted, from that position, which she should have been in.
House Republicans in their razor-thin new majority are expected to vote tomorrow to
like
remove
4
Democratic
seats.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. If successful, it would make her the 3rd Democratic House member to lose a committee assignment. Congressman Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell were blocked from House Intelligence last week. Republicans claim as their reason some specific remarks that Congresswoman Omar made in the past in criticizing Israel, remarks she has apologized for. But the real reason is simply vengeance by Kevin McCarthy against him.
No, yeah, the reason they keep on defending Israel is because, obviously, the AI PAC slush funds, I think it is, keep on, paying them money, and it's a profitable grift for House Republicans. So that's the real reason.
On behalf of the extreme wing of his party, to which McCarthy is entirely beholden. Revenge against Democrats for stripping Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar of their committee assignments back in 2021. Well, let's be clear. The reason why a majority in Congress, including some Republicans, voted to remove Gosar and Greene was for threatening violence against Democrats. Not only did Greene spread dangerous and racist QAnon conspiracies, but on social media she endorsed executing top Democrats, while also suggesting that the Sandy Hook and Parkland school shootings were staged. Gosar was expelled months later for posting an anime video.
Absolutely unhinged from reality.
Depicting him killing Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
And they claim the left is uncivilized.
Apologized, nor need they, apparently, because they, and not the supposed speaker, are now in charge. And joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. And I did remark when you came in, you are surprisingly nonplussed. And
I'm shocked this woman is from Minnesota. Jesus Christ.
By what is happening. But
has to be an urban district. I mean, come on,
What do you make of this revenge tactic by Kevin McCarthy?
Yeah, I mean, they've been on a vengeance tour, and they've been very clear.
Well, they always are. I mean, they're rooted in contrarianism to any and all social progress.
Tonight, when the rules debate was happening in the Rules Committee, you did this, and we're going to do it without context. It's very blatantly clear. When we removed those two from their committees in the last cycle, it was because they threatened violence against members of Congress. And it had nothing to do about their work on committees. It had nothing to do about opinions that they might have on policy. And what they have done now is deny Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff their committees because they disagreed in the way in which they let the impeachment against Trump. So this is extracting revenge for Trump, their master. And certainly, I mean, I've been a target for them from the beginning. As you remember, McCarthy himself made the promise before I even got sworn in back in 2019. Donald Trump came into my state in 2016 when I was...
Yeah, they're just, presupposing that she should be ousted from that committee. They're just arriving at that conclusion and then rationalizing as time goes on.
For the Minnesota House and said Somalis are infiltrating your state and our country.
Okay, can Somalis not be Americans?
You remember Marjorie Taylor Greene coming to Congress in 2019 before she was a member of Congress and saying that Muslims should...
Yeah, she was like this Facebook troll. So fucking weird. Marjorie Taylor's election... if you read into it, it will really, really, really fucking test your faith in humanity.
Not be in Congress. And oddly, for somebody who believes in the Constitution, didn't actually know that I had a constitutional right, along with Rashida Tlaib, to get sworn in whatever I chose, because we have freedom of religion in this country.
And because they're not actual constitutional scholars. I think they like to think they understand the Constitution, but it's on a purely aesthetic level. So they like this idea of, you know, a living document that represents truly democratic values, but they don't actually, you know, study it at all. Because if they did, they find that it's, you know, it only gives you the absolute bare basic rights, and even then, you know, it can be interpreted in literally any way possible because law is very discretionary. So yes.
Country. And so we know what this is about. This is about saying this particular member of Congress is not allowed to have a voice on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Yeah. This particular member of Congress is someone that we don't think is appropriate in voicing, and that comes back to the fact that they don't actually think Muslims or, you know, refugees or immigrants in this country can appropriately criticize U.S. policy, can appropriately criticize, you know, policies of other countries.
They think you're a foreign agent. They don't think you're operating in the best interests of America.
And
let me turn the music back on.
That is against my First Amendment rights. It is against what our Constitution allows. It's against the principles we all believe as Americans about the freedom to debate and engage in dissent. And you have to remember the Foreign Affairs Committee really isn't about, you know, rubber stamping whatever the
speed it up a little.
Of whatever administration is. It's about oversight. It's about critique. It's about advancing a better policy forward. And it certainly is about making sure that the values that we say to be true as a country are carried out through our foreign policy, and they don't remain a myth. And these people don't believe in that kind of accountability being necessary when it comes to our country and others.
And by the way, just for you mentioned.
Yeah, they completely operate off of double standards. Now, to an extent, you know, pretty much everybody is going to encounter hypocrisy, you know, a double standard in their career as an interlocutor. But you need to make amends. But they don't even remotely care about making amends and, you know, correcting themselves to appear consistent, you know.
Context. Let me just put up this picture. This is
it's like Voss said, they've just kind of conceded the idea of empirical reality.
Posting it on her Facebook, this, right? You also have Lauren Boebert, who is right now justifying wanting to have loaded weapons on the floor of the House. With those kinds of people who have threatened you, who have threatened your colleagues, who have threatened other Democrats, they want to carry guns on the floor, and yet they're saying you shouldn't be on the Foreign Affairs Committee. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, and
Congress people subject. Okay, a subject, for those of you who don't know, is a rational agent. Okay, now, are we doing this cost-benefit analysis when we vote, when we tweet, when we say our political opinion and, you know, spouse it on a website like you? Because clearly that's not objective. As a matter of fact, I actually don't think politics even can be objective. It doesn't have the capacity to be objective. Fundamentally, and, you know, at a core philosophical level, you get to the point where you say, okay, this should be because I like it, and because other people like it. And that's how it should be. So, if any of y'all have, you know, an issue with that take, you know, come into the stream.
In allowing Muslims, how is she supposed to carry out the objectives of, like, the Patriot Act?
And you have somebody who essentially has threatened you, threatened other members of the squad, now potentially carrying guns.
I mean, sadly, can you imagine someone like her oversight on Patriot?
So, yeah, I'm just going to close that window. Okay. So, looking for take content. This is a video from 3 months ago detailing how to sell anything from anyone. And from hindsight, you know, because obviously it's 2023, it looks extremely optically bad. watch a video about this, Chinese balloon thing. Omar does not think it's a threat at all. I think China does have some geopolitical leverage over us, but all our money's in them. And if we do any sort of economic warfare whatsoever, it's totally going to backfire on China. So I'm leaning to towards the idea that, China's not really a substantial challenge to the U.S. But yeah, so I'm just trying to think to myself, what are some other current events we could possibly cover? Because we've gone past, the Ilhan Omar segment. We've gone past the Chinese spy balloon segment. So I'm just trying to figure out what to do. Okay. Okay. So here's a video on how to sell anything to anyone. Yeah, you could sell shit to an aristocrat. So let's do it this way with the illustrious Tate advice, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. The top business advice, not actual business, gurus like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Bill Gates, all these people who have proven themselves to set up multi-billion-dollar companies, valued possibly in the trillions in the future, even with inflation controlled for.
Do you have a little bit of a system you can share on how to make money? I know we've got CobraTate.com. We'll keep shouting it out. But any tips for someone who's ready, but they don't yet know the how?
Completely. So we teach it inside of the real world, of course. I keep mentioning it because it's so important. But
the real world, I think, is his course. And, obviously, the real world features descriptions on how to pimped out trafficked teenage girls on webcam businesses. Yeah.
There are 3 keys, I believe, to making money. The word of the day.
Fraud, coercion, and manipulation. And you can use all those to set up a trafficking business, can't you?
First one's perspicacity. Most people go through life and they do not pay attention. I've said this before and I want to stick by it because it's so important. You need to pay attention to every single time you spend money because you cannot make money. You're not the Federal Reserve, you're not government. Governments make money. All of us take money.
Wait, no, okay. They don't make money. They can put more of a currency into a money supply, like, M1 and M2 respectively. But there's really no such thing as making money so long as it's minted. I mean, money is just a quantification of, I'm trying to find the word, realized labor time. That's what money fundamentally is at the end of the day. And, for one to acquire money, they had to exert effort in some sort of way, or I guess just sell something, fundamentally. But really the only way to quote-unquote make money is to just mint more of it. But
somebody else or a business or a government, we take money from other things. So the easiest way to learn how to get good at taking money is to pay attention to every time someone takes money from you. So next time you buy coffee.
Wow, okay, what absolutely fucking profound business advice. Just pay attention to where money is going and don't let it slip out of your hands, dude. What a profound businessman.
Don't just buy the coffee and drink it and think nothing of it like every brokey. Don't do that. Say, okay, why am I buying this coffee? Okay, I want a coffee. All right. Why am I buying here? Well, this is on my way to work. Is there any competition around? Do I also want breakfast? Do they sell breakfast? No, they don't sell breakfast. They could probably make some more money if they're selling breakfast. Anyway, I walk in, there's a long line. Why is there one member of staff? I'm low on time. I'm about to leave and not buy the coffee. They're about to lose money because it's taking too long. Most of the people in this line are businessmen. Why is there not a cute girl behind the counter? I bet if they paid a cute girl a little bit more.
Blah.
People coming here to talk to her.
Oh yeah, cute girls that you can pimp out on OnlyFans. Who you are, of course, coercing into doing this job, of course. But, God.
And then what you'll do is, as you go through life, every time you spend money, is you'll realize the problem is not how to make money. The problem is how much time you have. Because there's endless business ideas. There's endless ideas.
Money is a quantification of time. I had this argument with my parents a couple of years ago, and they said money is time. That phrase is absolutely true. And I think of myself as an idiot now for not, conceding it. Let me check this chat. I watched a Destiny video where something did a deep fake of his calling his fans dumb. I honestly think that Destiny does, believe that some of his fans, are this, lowly, inferior, like student types. Like his audience are student types, and I think he feels they need to be educated by him. But that's just the general vibe I get from him. Obviously, I can't really back that up with mountains of evidence, but it's just a feeling.
To a coffee shop, and by the time I've walked out, I already know exactly how to open up next door and outcompete them head to toe. I already have worked out how much is the rent, where are they fucking up, what are they not selling they should be selling, what are they doing good.
What, you can literally just determine rent based on looking? Well, like, obviously a ballpark estimate, yes, but the exact amount, abso-freaking-lutely not.
But what are they doing bad? This chair is too hard, I'll wreck them. And I'll send it, and now my network is so powerful, which is the second point network, I can send a few messages on WhatsApp.
Who the fuck is thinking, wow, you are really a Machiavellian psychopath? Okay, dude, who could I put behind the counter to make this business function optimally? Oh my god, this chair is too comfortable. Maybe if we, actually implemented a better model, this would be, absolutely fantastic. We need better decor. We need a better location entirely. We need better tables. We need golden crusted toilet seats. We need fucking bleach in the drink so people don't feel dirty. Like, okay, literally nobody besides psychopaths is overanalyzing their world this much. When people just get up, which is the context you just gave, Tate, they're not looking for anything that needs to be optimized. They're just saying to themselves, that should energize me for the day. Okay, I'm off to work, and then I'll go back home, take one good shit, go to bed, then repeat the process all over again. And that's that. Like, this really indicates to us who he is.
2 months later, there's a brand new coffee shop next door with my name on it. Put him out of business. So the first thing you should pay attention.
Because it's that easy, yeah. Just anybody can instantly accumulate the capital to open up the coffee shop, especially next to another coffee shop and outcompete them, yeah. Yeah, that's totally a legitimate view of reality.
If you pay attention, you'll start to learn that money is everywhere. Every building is owned.
God, Omar should be here because he's an actual businessman. He actually has experience in this. But so we're not Destiny saying Tate, but it was a fake. No, yeah, Tate legitimately does believe his audience are these idiots. Tate is a grifter. He because what people like Tate and Jordan Peterson do is that they just espouse these absolute vague platitudes, the most substanceless advice, and then, put it in a nice, neat little, package of an alpha male, or that profound father you didn't realize you had, and, they just sell it as self-help to these disillusioned young men. And I feel that's where Vosh and Hassan come in, because we need that type of masculinity, obviously, a better forms of masculinity, but, on the left.
These are skyscrapers. Billions. Every apartment nowadays is a million. Million. You drive down a street in London, you're driving past trillions of dollars. There's money everywhere.
Do people think this is profound fucking advice? Yes, okay. Virtually every piece of effort, every construction, everything, especially tangible things, out there, money has been put into making them. How is this profound in any sense?
It's all around us. When I was broke, I thought that the world was broke. I thought that there was no money.
I never realized.
And then I got rich and realized that I was completely utterly wrong. There's so much money. It's everywhere. If I go to try and buy a plane or a jet.
But yeah, because there are a lot of people, and a lot of people work for a living. How is this revelatory in any sense?
6-year waiting list. I want a Bugatti. They launch it. The email comes to my email address. 2 minutes later, gone. Like, there's so much money. If I want a diamond watch or a million.
Look at the Bugattis! They've got a lot of money! Look at the skyscraper, tons of money! And for you audio listeners, audio exclusive listeners, making this motion of my mind blowing because this is so not profound at all. How are people invested?
$1 million watch or $1 million bucks. You can't stuff. There's so there. Once you get an echelon, you realize there's money fucking everywhere. So there's plenty of money.
Okay, I have gone nowhere socioeconomically in my entire life, and I've still realized money is everywhere. Because, okay, nobody on Earth, take a place like Tokyo. Obviously, it's this major metropolitan area, but, you know, just roll with it for now. Even though there are tons of investments in it, roll in it for now. Just say you're living there, okay? You don't have to move towards any socioeconomic greater status to realize that, yes, nobody is building these businesses for free. All these light fixtures, money had from somewhere to invest in them. Could be private, could be public funds, okay? All this transportation, somebody had to invest in it. It's utility somewhere, all right? Like, the fact that he's saying, okay, pretty much every tangible thing, everything that's constructed in society, there's money in it. Anybody could intuit that, so long as they have a pre-elementary understanding of economics.
The War Room, which is also on corporatedata.com, let people read for themselves. That's my private network, and we specifically talk about money.
Trafficking. Oh, yeah, right,
and
money. Money made via stop and going, you know, coerced women from Eastern Europe.
Mastermind. It's the real world's how to make money, and the War Room's what to do with money.
I'm not even going to say allegedly, because I'm so confident he's going to get convicted of this.
Yeah, it's all on corporatedata.com. I don't want to get off track, but it's there. But second is network. And third is to identify the reason why you don't have as much money as you want so far. And there's one of three reasons. You are either lazy, stupid, or arrogant. Those are only three reasons.
Yeah. Only reasons. You know, could be mental illness, you know, a lack of understanding of the socioeconomics, just you're absolutely pummeled by capitalism and the environment you work in. No. All those things, lazy, stupid, or arrogant. Fuck you. You're the problem. Your family's dead. You can't get laid for shit. You're a horrible person. You're pathetic. That's what this guy's saying to you. Okay? But people like me are saying, no. Obviously, what would be optimal is for you to get a good career, a good paying job, a salary, and a job that hooks you up with a lot of benefits. But at the same time, to get better quality in your life, a better quality of life, you have to reform the already existing capitalist system to manifest a better life for yourself. And that's what it is. That's my advice for young men, okay? So just I don't know, different strokes for different folks, I guess, but
the majority of people
I'm right.
are not the one they think they are. The majority of people are the one I'm about to say at the end. So let's start with lazy. There are a lot of lazy people. The unfortunate reality about money is that you are competing. So
yeah, like capitalists. They're absolute bloodsuckers.
It's player versus player. It's like anything in the world. If you want that beautiful girl, so does everyone else. You have to win the competition. You want that
yeah,
car,
life is a video game, according to Tate.
You have to get it first. You want that money, everyone wants that money. You have to compete. It's competitive. Business is competitive. You are competing against people like me. You're competing against people like the people in my network. You're competing about people who only talk about money, who understand money very well, who operate in jurisdictions all around the planet, who are extremely well connected.
This is what you need to be the next self-help champion of the right wing. Just say the most obvious things, but attach a character to it. Oh my god, dude, I could do that so easily. Okay, 2 + 2 = 4. The sky is blue. I have arms and legs. Every little bitch boy NPC on the right claps for that, I guess.
Who know things before you know them, who have mass influence and mass power and mass resource. You're competing against me. This is what you must understand. You're not waking up going, I want to make some money. You're competing against people like me. You're competing against billionaires.
Is it safe to say I'm competing against you? Because you've said that over and over and over and over again.
Against hedge funds? How do these hedge funds keep growing? Where are they getting that money from?
Competing against fucking hedge funds who haven't invested in me but someone else? I would have never fucking thought, dude.
Donkeys! They're robbing you! They're robbing all the poor people from the pension fund, dummy! That's where they get it from. This is who you're competing against. So the competition is absolutely and utterly fierce. Understanding that you're a man with a small pistol up against a mighty army. If you want to add a little bit of laziness on top, you're fucked. So when I say people are lazy, they go, I'm not lazy, I work hard every day. You work 8 hours a day? You work 8? The fuck? If I'm awake, I'm working. I'll be driving my Bugatti Chiron through Dubai, working. I'm texting at the same fucking time. I don't take a second off. I don't take a minute off.
You won't be working for long, especially if you get killed. You're driving a fucking sports car through, you know, I'm assuming they drive on the right lane. The right lane in Dubai, and, like fucking doing shit on his phone, like working. Because even if that's true, which it's so obviously not, he's clearly action faking. Also, just a quick aside, this is the best freeze frame to pause on, with Tate's face. Maybe I should use this in the thumbnail. He is doing tons of action faking, but even if you're like working on your phone, if you actually do that, you're insane. But my point here is, that's a good way to kill somebody. I'm just saying. Call me a pessimist, but
I don't relax, I don't rest, I don't stop, I don't chill.
We know you don't relax. That's obvious.
None, ever. I'm either asleep.
As a matter of fact, all the advice you've given in this shit is very obvious, that literally anyone could intuit without having to Google anything.
Or at work. That's it. Second I wake up, I check my phone, I begin working. I go to the gym in between sets, I am working. I'm online working the entire fucking day until the second I go to sleep, I am at work. That is all I do. And you are...
Right. You have no leisure time for yourself. You don't take any breaks. You don't take any shits. When you eat, you're working. Every waking moment of your life, you're working. Get the fuck out of here, okay? If any of you Tate fans actually legitimately believe that what he's saying is true, that he's working every day, just try it. No breaks. And if you do actually take a lunch break, you're just working. Yeah, try that. See if he's full of shit then.
At home competing against me, and you want to watch a movie tonight, and then say you're not lazy. You're fucking lazy, and you're going to lose forever. That's laziness. Next is stupid. I don't think many people are actually too stupid to be rich. You can be below average IQ and still get very rich. A very small percentage of people are too dumb to be rich. The slave minds, they'll never be rich, because the Matrix tries to keep you poor, because when you're poor, you can't think, like we talked about earlier. So everything the media tells you is...
Wait, so, okay. Obviously, he's using the word the Matrix to refer to not only capitalism, but to Jews, obviously. But capitalism more generally. Okay, so why don't we replace the Matrix with a better system like socialism, which merely requires reforming the capitalist system to distribute commodities based on need, and to distribute luxury based on how much surplus people have contributed to that system. Call me crazy, but, this socialism thing sounds like an amelioration to the Matrix now, doesn't it?
To make you poor.
Maybe a better system. Yes, capitalism is designed to make you poor.
So that's what they want.
Yeah, okay.
Believes in the Matrix, believes in media, believes in the library.
I'm starting to think Tate is a covert leftist, because he's saying, okay, the Matrix is designed to keep you poor. But at the same time, I think he's not, because he's also saying, okay, you got to find the best move on the chessboard. You've got to operate as best as you can within the Matrix. Okay, but what about reforming the Matrix at the same time? Because, don't rob from other people, but also, find ways to get rich before the either revolution or the reform. But, God, my opinion of him is just out there.
No, they think drug dealer, gangster. They're thinking he broke the rules, because anyone who follows the rules doesn't get shit. It's all a scam. It's all a fucking lie. So, the slave minds are fucked.
Yeah. This whole real world line you're toting, yeah, it is full of shit.
But those are the only ones who are too stupid to make money. Anybody who understands that the Matrix is lying to them is smart enough. Very small percent are too stupid. Inside of our school...
Capitalists' myths are a setup? I would have never thought, dude. Anybody could intuit this. This guy is not profound in any sense of the word.
And don't be lazy. Fuck, it's not that hard, right? So stupid's not the problem. So we have people who are lazy.
Wait, you have to exert effort to make a profit? I would have never thought, dude.
Very few are stupid, but the majority, the main reason most people are broke is because they are arrogant. I will sit here and say all the things I've said. I will do this, take time out of my life for free. Somebody at home will watch and digest it for free. They will agree with the things that are being said, or at least be entertained enough to continue to watch. And then I'll say, I'll teach you how to make money online. Go over to 𝖨ki𝗁𝖺ju̇.com, you can join the real world. And they'll sit there and go, I'll do it myself. They're arrogant. They have these egos from fuck knows where, because they didn't earn it. And they're just too arrogant to listen to anybody. I became world champion.
What is earning? Isn't that just so arbitrarily defined?
With an 8-time multiplier on it. Let's put it this way. Hustlers University, 175,000 students.
Yeah, I skipped a huge chunk of this video because, I can't take 20 minutes of this fucking guy.
About $13 million a month profit. That's an online educational company. Online is the
future. I want the stream to end very soon.
Fantastic. Outcompeted Oxford, Cambridge, everybody. It was the best school on the planet. Not just because we had 175,000 students, because we retained 175,000 students. That's the key. 175,000 people are making more money than they invested in. There's no other platform on the planet that can do that. We had no
I totally believe that.
competition. There was no other online digital learning platform that was even 1% as close. We were the largest online digital teaching platform on the planet. And everybody wants to make
Whatever metric 1% is going by in this context.
money. So everybody wants to do it. Male, female, rich country, poor country. That's $13 million a month that was doing. So what's that? $120, $130 million a year? 8 times multiplier? Is that what's that? 800 million by itself? Like, depending how you want to estimate it, I can sit here and say I'm worth $200 million.
Okay. Dude, I don't want to hear your accountant's fucking log for the past 2 weeks. I want to hear business advice. You know, okay. Just spouting off numbers isn't business advice. Okay. 20%, 100%, 3 out of 4, 100,000 in a week. Fucking, 10,000 dished out to one of my employees. Like, okay. Please give me actual coherent advice besides saying there's money everywhere and you need to retain it. Because that's all I've gotten from this video, okay? 20 minutes of my fucking life, dude.
Because the money's worth nothing. So the whole world is free. If I want coffee, it's like I buy and do things like the same way a person not even buys coffee, like a penny sweet. It's just like, oh, fuck it, all right. It doesn't mean anything. I can't explain it. I don't have a clue how much money.
None of this means anything. Besides the most vague platitudes.
Before you go, if you want to watch the full...
Alright. Jesus Christ. Thank God that shit's over. What other current events are trending? Associated Press, yeah. Obviously, it's Chinese weather balloon. We reshuffle primaries to stress diversity over tradition. Okay. So the Dems are moving the caucus. Shuffle. Dem shuffle primaries. MSNBC. What's going on here? Velshi, blah blah blah. We don't. Yeah, they're covering the meteorological balloon, or so Beijing says. You see, the problem here is that I just don't want to cover any random PragerU video because I want it to be relevant. Certain topics are fresh in your mind because if you start watching a political video that nonetheless is political but is off topic from what is currently in the media and trending. There's kind of a disconnect and your mind has to readjust to it. Iowa. Maybe. Here. This is something. Alright, we're going to skip this ad. This will be the last segment of the stream because I do not want to continue this.
They could upend a century-long tradition as the Democratic National Committee is poised to shake up the start of its primary calendar. President Biden championed the revamped lineup ahead of today's full membership vote. Supporters say the overhaul empowers voters who have gone unheard in battleground states. Despite some divisions over the proposed changes, Democrats are hoping to showcase unity with today's vote. Ed O'Keefe is in Philadelphia. What are you hearing, Ed?
Michelle, good to see you. The president and vice president were here last night, as you said. And top Democratic leaders are going to do something today they've talked about doing for quite some time. Rearranging the order in which states get to choose a president at the expense of one that has taken the process quite seriously.
President Biden, Philadelphia Friday night, strongly attacked Republicans.
Jobs are up, wages are up, inflation is down, and COVID no longer controls our lives.
But they're not giving him credit for that. They're trying to, create another, issue of distraction. Like, I think Tucker's on, white people being attacked now, or something like that.
Extreme MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives and made it clear they intend to put it all at risk.
His appearance at his first memorial event this year had him sounding like a cat.
They're not going to raise the debt limit, so they're going to plunge the country into absolute chaos.
But aides say a formal re-election announcement is still several more weeks away. While they wait, Democrats are planning ahead. They're approving a plan to start their 2024 primaries in South Carolina, followed by a combination of New Hampshire and Nevada 3 days later. Battlegrounds Georgia and Michigan would also move up, while Iowa, punished for its chaotic 2020 caucus, is being pushed farther back.
This proposal by
Yeah, because Iowa Democrats, I guess they're a bit indecisive in choosing that nominee, but...
asset, and that is our diversity.
The plans elevate South Carolina's black voters, Nevada's growing Latino population, and gives earlier attention to 2 key battleground states. But the change is especially stinging to New Hampshire, which has held the first primary since the 1920s. National Democrats believe the smaller, rural, mostly white state
has been in the lead for too long. New Hampshire Democratic Party Chairman Ray Buckley disagrees.
It's called shooting yourself in the foot.
Do they have a point when they talk about the lack of diversity in New Hampshire?
We have made diversity a priority here in New Hampshire, and we are supportive of diversity across the country. We are not opposed to bringing in other states, but the fact is that New Hampshire is going to be the first.
That's because New Hampshire has a state law requiring it hold the first primary in the nation. National Democrats want them to drop it, but Republican Governor Chris Sununu, who's also thinking about running for president, says that won't happen.
It's an absolute joke. It's not based on anything to ensure that the voters in America will have a better first filter.
So if New Hampshire still opts to go first, there's a
Right, I totally believe that.
We don't get to seat delegates at the 2024 convention. We'll see how that goes. That's still more than a year away. The big thing the president has to worry about in the next few days is his State of the Union address. He's going to spend the weekend putting the final touches on it. And while he sounded awfully partisan last night, 𝖳tuti𝖾 𝖭𝗂δι𝗁𝖾, the message on Tuesday night is unity.
Although not official, it sounds like the political season has begun. Ed O'Keefe, thank you.
All right, well, oh yeah, so you get to see all my recommended videos. Anyway, yeah. Shout out to y'all if any of you like Rihanna, but okay, that's the stream for today. I'm so fucking exhausted. I didn't get much sleep last night, and I've got to, edit these segments, so, I can chop them up and, upload them to my channel. But that's the stream for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day, and I'll see you all later.